Their tail has a pointed barb on the end of it that they can use as a weapon or to mimic their head. They have massive fangs that protrude out the side of their mouth, meaning they're impossible to safely handle. There's no antivenom, so bites almost always lead to amputation. Hello humans, today we are heading up to Pennsylvania for the Hamburg Morgantown Reptile Expo. We're going to take a look around and see if there's anything cool there that we want to buy. We're going to be looking specifically at all of the venomous snakes because this is one of the last venomous snake shows on the East Coast, so that is why we are heading up. It's about a 6-hour drive, so let's hit the road. So we hit the road, driving through both the day and throughout the entire night until we finally managed to get to the hotel, where we promptly waited for 30 minutes until we could actually get checked in because nobody was behind the front desk. Alright guys, we just got to the hotel here in the Hamburg, Pennsylvania area. We're going to be staying the night for the reptile show tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. Let's do it. We woke up early and got in line, and while I was in line, I noticed something very funny. The front door says no pets allowed. I really hope they don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Finally, we made it inside, and we saw a bunch of cool venomous snakes, some bush vipers, some rattlesnakes, and this really pretty puff adder. I kinda need to get one of these because I don't have one yet. There were plenty more venomous snakes like that beautiful orange cobra that just got yoinked, and these beautiful mangrove snakes. These are an all-time favorite of mine. I also saw this whole pile of baby western diamondbacks. This table had some more cool stuff, some coral cobras, bush vipers, baby rattlesnakes, mangrove pit vipers, and this one really beautiful Sri Lankan pit viper, another one that I really wanted. They also had this baby sidewinder rattlesnake. There was even a baby Meng Shen viper at the show, which was pretty awesome as well. I was completely caught off guard by this fudge packing booth. I was not expecting it at all, but I was very glad to participate. There was this baby Morlet's crocodile for sale as well. These make absolutely fantastic pets for children. Oh, I've always wanted an Aro green tree python. Wait a minute. You are not a green tree python. There was your average turtle dealer present and accounted for as well, with these baby alligator snapping turtles available for your purchase. These can grow hundreds of pounds and live for like 100 years. They make fantastic beginner pets for most people as well. There are also some smaller turtles. Also your average cockroach dealer. I love my local cockroach dealer. Who doesn't love cockroaches? And cockroach dealers. If I had more space, maybe I'd get a green anaconda like the one that was available at this show. But instead, I decided to be responsible and didn't buy it, no matter how much I regretted doing so. The last table we had to look at before we left was probably the best. Tons of different species of rattlesnakes available, banded rock rattlesnakes, insularises. These are some super beautiful Trimeresurus insularises or Komodo Island pit vipers, the blue phase on top, and then this really weird like aquamarine phase on the bottom that I haven't seen too much of. We have some death adders over here. These are true Australian death adders. These are pretty cool. I want some of these, but I only have one other species at the moment, a beautiful nosed horned viper from Europe, the most deadly snake in Europe. We have a pygmy rattlesnake. These are native to the United States and pretty cool, a horned viper over there. And we have some Urutu lance heads. I have a pair of these. These are pretty sweet, one of my favorite lance heads. And if we make our way over here, this is a really unique species. This is Proatheris superciliaris, a swamp viper. These are from Africa, and they are pretty neat. And then there's this red Gloideus hallis as well, which is a pretty cool species of viper from Eastern Asia. And then there's also this really beautiful black bush viper or squam. I already have a couple, so I didn't get that. But what I did get was this really cool stiletto snake that I saw available. This is a really unique species, so this was one of the 2 snakes I bought. We'll talk more about the other one in another video, but for now, let's head home. We are finally back home with our brand new snake that we got at the Reptile Expo. So let's go ahead and get him out, and we're gonna get him set up in his temp environment, and hopefully we can get him established. So let's open up the container here. Inside we can see that we have one really nondescript black snake. Doesn't look like anything special, but believe me, it is. This is the stiletto snake, a very unique species that's not an elapid or a viper. Those are the two most common groups of venomous snakes on the planet. This is in the Atractaspis group of snakes, or family of snakes, which is a venomous group of snakes that like to burrow. They're the burrowing asp / stiletto snake family, and that is all that they have. So it's just these guys. I think there are several different species of these, if I'm not mistaken, but this is one of them here. So this is an imported snake from Africa. It is wild caught. These spend most of their times burrowed underneath the surface. So we're gonna get him out, and we're gonna get him set up here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give him a nice soft substrate that he can burrow into quite easily. So for that, we are using some Zilla Jungle Mix. Let's go ahead and pour that into the container here. And this should give us a nice 2 to 3 inch layer, if my estimations are correct. Perfect. We're looking, yep, right around the 2 to 3 inch mark. Exactly what we want. The snake can easily burrow beneath the surface and kind of swim around down there if he so pleases. So now that we have that done, let's go ahead and get this water bowl unwrapped here. And this is a bit of a difficult species to keep in captivity, so hopefully we can have success. A lot of people end up killing them off. We're going to hope that that doesn't happen, because that would be very, very cringe. We actually enjoy when the reptiles we have stay alive. It's usually a good thing. Usually a good thing. So there we go. Water bowl is inside. Now we can go ahead and put this little piece of cork in here. I don't expect him to use it very frequently. I think he'll be underground a majority of the time, but it's good to give them options and good to give them something that they can interact with. So he can crawl inside that, he can crawl over it, he can crawl under it. A lot that he can do with that there. Then we just have some more little bits and bobs for him to interact with here. And we'll top it off with some nice leaf litter. Just a few leaves spread throughout the enclosure, just to give him a little bit extra. Just to give him a little bit extra. And that is a nice, simple enclosure. Normally for a new snake like this, especially a wild-caught imported snake, you would probably just put them on paper towels temporarily, but this is a snake that is a bit niche, it's a bit unique. And I don't think that there would be a good chance of him surviving if we just put him on paper towels, because he wouldn't feel comfortable enough to eat, so we would never be able to get him established. That's why we're doing this specific setup for the snake. So we're going to try this. We'll see how it does. If we need to change things around a little bit, we will. We're going to start him off just at ambient room temperature. If we need to give him a low wattage heat bowl, we can. But for now, this is good. I say that's a pretty solid setup. Let's go ahead and fill up his water a little bit. We have some water here just for that purpose. So let's go ahead and pour the water inside. There we go. And now we can get the snake in there. And since this isn't really a locking enclosure, it's a slide out, so we can tape the edge so that he can't open it. But moreover than that, we're going to put it inside one of these empty enclosures, which has these tabs to hold the door in place. So he will be double contained, which is good. So let's go ahead, let's get him unboxed, and we'll put him inside. So now that we have the enclosure set up for our snake, we can go ahead and get him out. Now, these are very, very weird venomous snakes. They actually have fangs that will protrude from the side of their mouth. So they are very difficult to handle, and they are impossible to secure behind the head, because those fangs will pop out and they'll actually puncture you right on your thumb or your forefinger. And many people have lost digits because of that. There is no antivenom for this snake species. All that you can do is really manage pain. So if you get bit, it's just going to be rotting away at your flesh, which is not ideal. So we're going to be careful. We're not going to actually put hands on the snake unless it is spazzing out like crazy. These are a very spastically moving snake. They are very twitchy. Okay, so we have this glove here because it will protect us. If it starts freaking out, we can just put this glove on real quick and secure the snake and move it in. But before that, we are going to try and just hook it out of this container and into the new enclosure. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's get our lid nice and ready to go, just like that. And all right, let's get this baby opened. So we are going to undo this red electrical tape. This red tape signifies that the animal inside is venomous. That is a pretty standard practice in the reptile hobby. You will normally see red tape surrounding containers with a venomous or potentially dangerous animal inside. So now that we have that tape off, we can get this container opened up. So let's do that now. We're going to be very, very careful. We definitely do not want to take a fang from the snake, so we'll slide the hook in like that, and we can just wedge it open just like that. And now, let's get this snake out. Doesn't seem to be twitching too hard. Very good. And it could just be because this animal is cold, has been traveling all day. And there you go. You can get a good little look at him. It's just a funny looking black snake. Not really anything unique on the surface level of this animal. It's not until you look a little deeper that you see how unique this species is. And I don't know if you can tell from there, but their tail actually can sometimes act like a head mimic as well. They have a nice sharpened point at the end of their tail that they can poke you with, and that looks kind of similar to their head, which will obviously help them in the wild. When it comes to predators, either mistaking the tail for the head or being able to use that as a barb to poke a predator to defend themselves. And that is a good little temporary enclosure for this snake. Hopefully we can get him to eat. That is the goal. And now you can kind of see his tail here. If you take a closer look right at the tail here, you can see that kind of sharpens into a little barb there. It doesn't taper off like a normal snake's tail would. It is very, very unique in that aspect. They can use that as a defense mechanism as well as to pretend that it is a head as well. So now that we've got him in here, we're going to throw the lid on just like this. Alrighty. There we go. And now we're going to put a layer of tape on this side so that it can't be jostled open. And then we're going to put it inside of this enclosure just over here. Go ahead and tape this up. Fantastic. Now that that's taped, no movement at all on the lid, which is exactly what we want. We can go ahead and carefully slide this right into here. It should fit. Beautiful. And now close that up. And he is away from all of our other snakes. There's no other snakes in any of these units. So that'll do for a temp setup for quarantine. Make sure that we can hopefully get him established, get him eating, and hopefully he does well for us. They're a very weird, very unique little snake. So hopefully we can keep him, we can get him some good footage for you guys. We can see those weird sideways angled fangs in action sometime and get you guys some good footage of that. But I hope you enjoyed the video. We had a lot of fun at that Reptile Expo and getting our brand new snake. We did also get one other snake, but that is going to be a part of another video because that is a very unique story. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all on the next one.